We're back for the Sunday's LCK Analyst Desk. This is Mina Kim and we'll be joined by Victory and Wadid for today's Analyst Desk. DAMWON take on KT Rolster. Both teams' fans were expecting a lot from this game. However, DAMWON Gaming was having a bit of an easy win. What went wrong in terms of draft? Well, I don't see any problem in terms of their champ select. They both went with very go-to champion selects. However, we got Nuclear's Kaisa over here, one of his signature picks. This reminded him of defeating two Roller's Kaisa in the previous game, because he lost lane against the Call Kaisa, so Nuclear maybe felt really bad after that game. However, he actually used that energy into improving himself, so he pulled off a great performance on Kaisa overall. For KT, well, except Gragas, they actually had all AD damage, so they had to really find somewhere to break down Ornn. However, it was not that easy. Their plan B could be doing a lot of damage around Gragas, but KT did not make it happen in either way. Well, they let DWG Gaming take points so easily in their first gang, and going on, they were just all falling apart all throughout the game. So this game was really one-sided. So it was a very bad game for KT. So nothing much was happening until this team fight. But this is the moment where KT players pulled trigger. They went in for Rek'Sai and they managed to find him. However, their teamwork over here was so bad. Because Zoe had the W flash, there was no meaning in finding her with Alista combo. So they actually should have gone for Ornn. However, their decision making was very off. So that was the point where they could shut down Nugget's Ornn. However, because they weren't really clean making their decisions in the team fight, they were actually letting all 5 DWG Gaming players to scale after that fight. So there was another attempt coming from KT Rolster. However, it was worse than the previous attempts. So we want to focus on the main tanks right here. Alista ultimate removes all crowd controls effects and also reduce the incoming damage. But Ornn also had a huge armor, so he also has very huge damage reduction as well. And in fact, Ornn, even without ultimate, well, his set actually outnumbered Alistar. So DWG Gaming was much more sustained throughout the fight. So as soon as the team fight started, Tuzin was just melt down. However, Ornn was so strong, he never fell. We could also see Ornn walking out alive after taking so many fountain lasers. So we could see the difference between the tanks in game number 1. So I guess KT have to improve their communication skills as well. The player of the game for game number 1 would be Nuguri on Ornn. Nuguri, even though today he was on a tank champion, he was just popping off everywhere on the Rift. He had 94% kill participation, which is also really impressive. And with such a low health, he never died. And also, at this moment, he was getting chased by 5 players from the KT side. However, he just walked out and he got so many backups from his teammates. Also, his teamwork with Rek'Sai was also really impactful throughout the game. So I think DWG had their best game in this split so far, so I hope DWG can step up based on this game. But KT Rolster also, there's no back for them. They really need to commit for the next game. They need to try something they prepared. They were just falling apart very powerlessly in this game. So we want to see a better KT Rolster in game number 2. So let's go check out who will take the Rift in game number 2.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. We're up to game number 2 between KT and DAMWON, and Sowan's going to be subbed out for the first time this season. Ray, who just came over from EDG, is going to be hopping into that top lane position. See whether he can save a floundering KT here alongside Malron, who is also going to be taking Bono's place after Bono once again had a pretty lackluster performance. Definitely better than his Jarvan game, but still not paying off so far.
And, well, we're going to have to see what is going to happen here in game number 2. And Ray, he's been one that has been playing some of the more unorthodox picks. I know that I've talked about him a few times on broadcast so far.
Yeah.
In 2020 Spring, as he's the one that is willing to play Sona. Or he was one of the few players.
A Sona picker, as it were. Well, I'd be excited to see what he's going to be able to bring to the table here, especially being able to mix things up against Nogari, who just came off a Player of the Game performance. Excellent work on the Ornn, probably the best that we've seen so far this season as far as Ornn play. And it's to be expected from a player of Nogari's caliber on the top side. So good to see that the solo laners from DAMWON are still pulling their weight. Showmaker also had quietly a pretty fantastic showing on his Zoe. Was always one of our sort of top 3 Zoe players. I like to give it to top 4. Say that Dove, BDD, Chovy, and Showmaker have been definitely standout Zoe players, in my humble opinion.
Well, it does look like KT, they're just going to be adjusting, I guess, as having substitution sometimes does end up happening.
Yeah, it does sort of take a little bit of time before you can get everything together. Currently, I'm trying to find Ray's solo queue account to see what he's been playing, but can't quite find any of them that are active at the moment. He's got one in Diamond 1, but I don't know whether that is one that he's actively playing. Oh, no, he has.
Yeah, that's him.
All right, wow. Chilling in Diamond 1.
Well, he has the Soraka. Hey, there's a lot of people in Diamond 1. Faker's in Diamond 1.
All right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Who would have thought? Just not putting as much time into the solo queue at this point in time when scrims are aplenty. Can understand it. Also, the amount of red in this recently played is extraordinarily large.
Yeah, no, it's not about that pros aren't putting in games. There is lots of pros right now, D2, D1, on the ladder.
Wow.
It is insufferable.
Oh, no.
And what I mean by that is it's just a lot of diversity going on inside of the games.
Diversity. That's going to be his word. I feel like you have evolved, you know? You've found different vernacular to really put your opinion out there without necessarily saying the bad words. As Rek'Sai and Olaf, 2 sinners, both removed. As despite the fact that Bono is left, Malron going to have his Olaf focused away. Syndra taken away as well here by KT. Wouldn't say that Syndra is necessarily a priority ban against DAMWON, but DAMWON respecting the Ornn pick so much they actually decide to ban it away from KT here.
And the Akali now being banned by KT.
Wow, Akali ban on blue side.
Yeah, a little bit surprising.
Ray not wanting to play it, and I think that the blue side ban here is purely because Solan's been subbed out. If KT are to play the Akali, generally it's the top lane version because Solan did show himself as one of our top lane Akalis that was able to really find success on the champion, especially in 2019. So far, Akali hasn't been a great pick in the LCK. In fact, I believe she's lost every game that she's played, all 2 of them.
Yeah.
Felio is going to be the final ban here on DAMWON's side, and now KT have set available and will lock that one in.
And now, does DAMWON actually respond to set here with a proper pick? Hopefully we don't see any of those Gnar shenanigans. I don't know, I was getting a little tongue-tied right there.
Yeah, don't worry, I've been joining you on that one. As Nogari, yeah, I mean, the Na is generally his go-to, but hopefully after that last game, he never goes to it again. Misfortune, more comfortable pick here, certainly second tier as far as 80 carry is concerned, and I say second tier as the tier below Aphelios, but still certainly up there as far as priority. Canyon, no Rek'Sai availability, can lock in a jungler here if you would like to, but certainly a lot of other options. Would like to go there too. Lee Sin, Swain would be odd, but might be a choice into the set. Lee Sin going to be locked away here. Interesting that we haven't seen very much Swain. I remember he got buffed a little while ago and we were like, where's the Swain? And then just never really happened.
Well, Lee Song getting locked in by DAMWON. And what is going to be the response is KT, okay, here's the 1-2 punch for the Zyrakan that we mentioned before as a possibility.
Yep, wasn't possible in the last game because the Xayah was banned, but now Showmaker can try and fashion something here in order to derail what KT has already put together. Very thematically, you know, art style correct here on KT's side. Everyone looking basically the same
race as well.
Yeah, and same hairstyle, vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it's very anime over there on KT's side.
Yeah.
Zoe going to be picked up here by Showmaker. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, let's take a look at what the bans now are going to end up being as DAMWON.
Probably going to pinch the jungle here, I would assume, as Gragas is going to be the first ban. Looking at something like, I guess, Jarvan, Elise
now,
for the second.
Malrong actually was one of the Karthus players last split in summer. So right now, KT is very lined up to pick Karthus as it currently stands, and DAMWON does have a lot of champions that are susceptible to him.
It could be Lucian Karthus here for KT to round out this draft.
It
if
could.
They'd like to.
Yeah.
Wouldn't work too badly. As what will DAMWON ban after this, Gragas? They could ban the Lucian if they feel like it. Depends. They did deal with it very effectively in game 1.
Maybe Elise? No, it's going to end up actually being Jarvan, and that's a little bit surprising, all things considered.
It does deny Jarvan Rumble being picked up immediately after this for KT. That would also suit their composition relatively well.
KT, are they going to end up just banning another support? No, it's actually going to be the Mordekaiser, and that's really strange when you have the set, because set already beats Mordekaiser. And
yeah,
then
that's what we've seen. Yeah.
Pair it with the Zoe, you incentivize the Merc Treads to be picked up. QSS as well is an option. Hex Drinker.
I want to see Fiora or something like that for Nogari. I want to see him to go full split push. We're not going to see it yet because we're going to wait until the full team composition has been revealed before Nogari is going to lock in his champion. But if ever you see these counter pick split pushes, it's generally at last pick on red side. So still an opportunity as the Elise that we were talking about is going to be hovered. Feels like a trap these days. She hasn't been doing a lot of winning, but when she does
these
win,
are my favorite two jungle
good.
champions, Atlas. Elise and
that's Sejuani.
Okay.
DAMWON were very good at losing to Sejuani in their last match against Gen G. So, I mean, there's that, as this would be a lot of physical damage.
That is
KT.
Insane amounts of physical if they would end up going with that, and so...
Glad that they changed their mind. 4 seconds to go. Orianna the consideration. Won't be too difficult up against the Zoe. Being able to shield yourself and all that sort of stuff does help the Orianna. As KT with a very standard front-to-back team composition here with that follow-up, and that's the Fiora that I was talking about. This could be an opportunity. KT have shown face-up that they want a team fight.
Oh, Kale.
And Nogari's going to do it back to his old favorite in the Kale. A champion that can also get that split push happening, but can also play a team fight game as well and adds an extra carry to the arsenal of DAMWON. A very exciting pickup. Let's see whether KT can use this very stable comp in order to answer what Noguri is going to be able to put forward. But it's going to be, once again, a really difficult mid-game for KT to get past. Malrang going to be hard for him to have too much of an impact without getting himself to a couple of items and really being that rock in the front of the team. Him and Ray going to have a rough time, but both of them fresh off the bench. In for game number 2, and KT, they haven't won a game number 2 yet. Game number 2 being the hardest one. In fact, haven't played a lot of game 3s. Game number 2s they have always lost, and they've won a couple of game 1s. See whether they can turn it around here up against DAMWON.
Well, Set, Sejuani, Orianna, Xayah, and Rakan is going to be the champions for KT here. And so they do have quite a bit of late game as well as a massive mid-game power surge available to them in their picks. And on the flip side, Nautilus, Misfortune, Zoe, Lee Song, and Kale. And so the Kale pick, interesting response to the Set, able to almost entirely neutralize them in the later stages of the game. And then Kale, no stranger to scaling.
Certainly going to be able to scale pretty effectively here for DAMWON, but otherwise their composition does peak around the mid-game, given Lee Sin and Zoe. Zoe just in general, as soon as you see her, you know that the composition can do stuff in the mid-game, because that's where she absolutely excels, when the map becomes a little bit more open and the bubbles start being frustrating for the opposition. Having a look at the runes, it's going to be the fleet footwork on this Kale this time around. A bit of experimentation since Klepto was removed. Kale didn't really have a go-to keystone. It's generally the precision tree that you see her occupying these days. So we are going to clear out the vision. Hoyt just having a little bit of a wander around. Interesting that we don't see barrel switching in for game number 2. It feels like DAMWON have gone back to Hoyt. The beginning of DAMWON's time in the LCK, it was Hoyt that was playing most of the games. This was in the height of Rakan priority. And then barrel towards Worlds. Him and his Alistair were really getting some things done. But now it seems like Hoyt has picked up the reins once again.
And Malrang going to be starting the red buff here, also using that sweeper. Going to let aiming pick it up.
But full information given as to where Miss Piggy is going to be starting. Ray up here towards the top side. I believe we'll know that Noguri was helping the Lee Sin get a bit of a leash.
And okay, well, Ray up here has the E start. Isn't actually using it.
Yeah, face breaker held on to, which is interesting.
Kale was absolutely in range. That is so bizarre.
It's pretty strange. I guess he was worried about the follow-up damage, as there's the face breaker finally coming out.
Gets the level 2 as well.
Maybe that was the timing that he was looking for. Gets that big punch. Now Malrang will find Canyon. Canyon turning it onto him immediately, but I don't know whether this is a fight that he necessarily wants, as the permafrost does come down. Oh my goodness. Of course, level 2, he gets his redemption. As Canyon walks over a wall, but isn't going to be able to steal the Grom. Level 2!
Level 2 redemption is it quite good insane RNG.
Good player.
Yeah. Very talented.
We talk about this. The earlier you get redemption, just shows how much of a better Zoe player that you are. It does certainly trigger me, and that was utilized very, very well there from Showmaker.
As right now, Showmaker just gonna be trying to keep the Orianna underneath the turret. Lee Sin and Sejuani completely even right now in terms of CS, but Lee Sin has a lot more resources available to him.
Yeah, Canyon spending some time on the top side of the map certainly did help take away some of Malrang's options. As Kuro back to a pick that he certainly did love many moons ago. Now Ray playing very aggressively here towards the top side. Of course, Noguri before level 6 is going to be quite susceptible. Still needs to get to his Kaioken form.
Noguri also level 4, as Ray is still stuck on 3.
Another big face breaker down to 200 here for Noguri.
And this is a very scary timing right now. Malrong's going to come up in here to top lane because you know that Nuguri just can't resist trying to shove in this wave, but
well,
meanwhile,
Nuclear in a lot of trouble. Tucson dashing around this one, but Nuclear does find a little bit of extra damage back and is going to be okay for now. I believe DAMWON were baiting for Canyon, who was here on the bottom side. However, not able to actually find a window in right here. Push the wave again as Lee Sin did decide to go back. Nuclear standing on a ward, but will eventually just go for a reset. No teleport available or anything of that nature. As Nuguri had teleported back towards the top side, has himself a couple of long swords building towards the Gunblade most likely as his first item. Gunblade, Rageblade, Nash's Tooth, generally the build path for the Kayle these days. We've seen one so far in the LCK. Don't remember whether it was Nuguri off the top of my head. There's another Facebreaker max range there from Ray. Doesn't find the sweet spot on the Haymaker. This is one of those interesting matchups where right now, yeah, you can see the set is doing a great job, but that's what is to be expected even if the Kayle was picked into him. Just based on what the options are going to be moving later into the game as Showmaker finds a very comfortable paddle star. And also maximizes his levels here in the mid lane. Kuro will be able to even out that experience bar. Canyon takes away the Cloud Drake. We've got an Ocean next and either Mountain or Infernal Soul to come in.
And all of those are really exciting.
Mountain's going to be brilliant for KT if they can get it.
They have the Sejuani, they have the Orianna as well. It also just really helps with resisting Zoe bubbles in the later stages of the game. As Infernal Soul also super good for both of these parties.
Oh yeah.
As Nuguri, I mean, he's up here in top lane. You pick the Kayle against the set to scale, not to win lane. And Nuguri's doing a pretty fine job keeping up in the CS department. We'll see what build Nuguri ends up going. I think that he's just going to go for the Gunblade as the initial item. It takes Kayle a very long time to get going.
Yeah.
In Season 10, no longer has the Kleptomancy available to her, as every other lane state is just completely even right now. So, not a lot of action going on. Malrong could die here.
Well, Paddle Star doesn't find the mark. We've got a Trouble Bubble that lands onto the Rakan. Broken, in fact, by the Aftershock, which I don't think is what DAMWON actually wanted. But Rift Scuttler is going to be claimed by DAMWON Gaming. Just muscling out. KT from the river. Is now level 6 has been hit. Nuguri has found himself a ranged form, and this is where the lane starts to turn back for the Kayle. Utilizing range advantage is, of course, what you want to be doing. Is now Canyon once again being aggressive in the jungle. I like it on this Lee Sin. Putting the pressure on when you're going to be stronger. Because if the Sejuani's just allowed to farm, then something's gone wrong on the other side, right? Because she needs to spend some time getting towards items. And Canyon, you can see, already itemizing for early power with the double long swords instead of going towards finishing off his skirmishing saber or anything like that. Ray throws down the Q, but
has
he's just going to miss
E.
the Haymaker, yeah.
And doesn't use it. And this is so many times now the camera has panned to top lane, and I haven't understood what Ray is trying to do on this set.
At least lands a Haymaker there, but didn't have a lot of grip built up, so following up can be difficult. Great slow from Nuguri to deny Ray's advance. Also denies the Sejuani any sort of entrance. Nuguri's just toying with Ray right now. This is super comfortable for the Kayle.
She has that range form now, and so Set is going to start losing. He does need a recall, though, very badly, as Ray did end up doing it. Now, we're going to see if Ray is a sinner or a saint when it comes to, does he build Black Cleaver on Set?
Well, so far, both options are available to him. Couldn't quite finish the Pahage as he went home. As the Ruby Crystal and the Longsword still sitting in his back pocket as Canyon is continuously diving into Malrong's jungle. And taking away camps. You can see 51 to 36 right now. That makes me feel like Malrong is just farming extremely slowly rather than Canyon actually, you know, farming fast on this Lee Sin. The Sejuani's going to really be struggling. Level 6 already gained from the Lee. And I believe still level 5 is Malrong. Yeah, lowest level in the game This is what can happen. Showmaker discovers the ward. Will know that Crow is paying a visit, but Tucson, I believe, unknown to DAMWON. Now discovered as he walks over towards his control ward. Crow here will clear out this minion wave. Tucson taking a bit of damage, but otherwise it's going to be fine. Guardian going to be there, able to walk next to Crow and pick that one up. As Canyon is the one that started off onto Shelly. Malrung in the area, doesn't have the ultimate, as Ray behind the pit was looking for a way in. Showmaker now in position. Noguri as well, up here ready to zone away the set. Who's just desperately trying to get back towards his lane as the bubble is going to land. Haymaker comes forward. The timing's brilliant from Showmaker there as he weaves in the Paddle Star after the shield was mostly dealt with. Now the set with no teleport has to deal with 3 members of DAMWON and only a fresh level 6 Sejuani up here.
And no Rift Herald actually being summoned either. They just end up zoning Ray off a bit of CS, and they take one of the turret plates, as now Nuguri gonna be able to shove in this wave as well. Canyon coming over, and I think what they're trying to do is lock up Malrung and Ray.
Yeah, and they are going to load Noguri up on plates here as well. I believe Canyon's going to try and continue his snowball by collecting some of the gold here as well. Spacebreaker does come down, but Safeguard's pretty good ability. That's going to stop Ray from doing too much. Noguri, bit of an interesting choice when it comes to target selection, as Ray doesn't find the sweet spot on that Haymaker either. As double recall is going to come forward. Noguri just takes that plate because it's there and he deserves it. As Showmaker takes a lot back from that one, but Hoyt looking for a dredge line, can flash for it if he'd like to, and does so. Gets the flash immediately out of Kuro. Kuro will switch immediately over to the Ghost, and I think probably not worth it considering the spellbook, as Hoyt now won't have any options other than the dredge line onto terrain.
And we can see that, I mean, Kuro, this is definitely not negative gaming. I just want to point that out. Ghost Cleanse is perfectly fine here. As the spellbook is being used in order to get that ghost, as
I think they're the most common Nunu runes, the old Ghost Cleanse.
they are quite interesting.
Yeah, certainly common ones.
Makes you want to go disco dancing.
I want to go disco dancing as well. I went to
a
roller disco when I was in LA.
Oh, it actually snowed today here.
It did. It was incredible, wasn't it?
It was really pretty.
It's one of the things that I really love about living in Korea is snow, because I'm Australian and we just don't, snow doesn't happen in my country, really, unless you're on top of a mountain. Hextech Gunblade completed as Noguri teleports back in, and Canyon might just be dead, but no, Safeguard once again going to help him out. Lands the Q. Not likely to go back in as he's still quite squishy. Warrior Enchant is complete. The KT now gather themselves some control around this Ocean Drake that has spawned. Shirley will be coming up momentarily as well, as Shelly went down pretty early. A few things to fight for on this map in a few moments' time. The lead for DAMWON is there, but it's not gigantic.
And Ray is not even going to go into Trinity Force or Black Cleaver. Actually just picked up the Spectre's Cowl, first item. So purely defensive set, and this is going to mean that set is not going to be doing anything in the mid game as it stands.
Well, there's the Glacial Prison into the Shockwave, a very dead Canyon in that river. Standing a little close to the sun. First blood, actually, is what that was. Is now Showmaker looking for the second one. Now Nuclear throws out the bullet time. Tucson has to get the hell out of there as the depth charge was popped, I guess. But the image was still there. Featherstorm will indeed do that for you. Showmaker still tussling with Kuro, but just going to find the heal. Nuclear holds onto his flash. Bottom side, aiming with barrier and flash also available to him. Double heals missing from the supports.
And Kuro doesn't end up landing that bubble. He's just trying to get another plate as he's so close to getting one in mid. Ray trying his best to defend the final plate that he has remaining. As Nuguri looks AFK, I don't really know.
No, he got stunned. It's fine.
Yeah?
He got shot by a sword as well, which is quite confusing there, did Ray. And now, see whether he can withstand for another 20 seconds to deny that final plate. Looks like he's not even going to bother because Canyon's trying to steal his stuff. And Showmaker with the Paddle Star probably did more damage than Smite was capable of. As 8 seconds, and that plate should just go down for Noguri. Gets the ward in.
Yep.
2 seconds to go. Not even
Gets
close,
the plate,
baby.
gets
Easy
first
peasy.
blood turret. As we take a look at how this all transpires, Glacial Prism just comes out. And honestly, that is such a cookie cutter kill.
I mean, very easy. Not sure why Canyon was playing so far up. I believe they did have some form of vision. And he's quite squishy. Here's the little Lee Sin. You can see Malrong's actually closed the gap very effectively against Canyon.
2.5 minutes, or actually just under 3, I'm sorry, until the next dragon ends up coming up, and it is going to be Mountain Soul. And so for DAMWON Gaming, it's more so to just deny the opponents, although you do have some resistances that you can end up building.
Hoyt's, of course, going to have a stone plate as quickly as he can.
And Zoe can end up getting the Banshee's Veil if she wants to. Lee Sin obviously able to build tank items as well. Kale, not so much.
Nope. You are pretty priced into your first 3 damage items, being the Rage Blade, Gunblade, and Nash's Tooth. Where you go from there is certainly up to you. See what Noguri decides is going to be worthwhile for him. I like Phantom Dancer. I feel like having... Oh, there's the kick flash onto aiming. Not sure what Canyon was thinking, though, because there was absolutely no follow-up, and he just dies. Bullet time, thrown down. We've got triangles being thrown at one another, but aiming uses his defensively, and there we go. Depth charge from Hoyt. Used onto the Rakan, who can't actually break out of it. Now Showmaker in trouble, grabs himself a barrier. Chili Smite comes in there as well, but Malrong going to help Kuro pick up that kill, and Showmaker maybe a little bit overly aggressive. DAMWON hold on to their gold lead.
Yeah.
But otherwise, these fights are going all KT's way.
And now it looks like Malrong and Kuro want to try to come down here potentially into bottom. Malrong still does have the Glacial Prison available. And remember, Kale hasn't entered fights yet.
Oh, another dredge line coming in here as Malrong sees Noguri. Hoyt's going to go golden. Should be able to survive this because no one really wants to go near Noguri now that he's level 11. And he actually has Super Saiyan form. Level 12, as I say it.
Super Saiyan 1. As we take a look at this one more time, and I don't know what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
I actually just have absolutely no idea. I'm trying to think what he was thinking, and all I'm getting is just a blank image.
It seemed to me like he didn't quite know which direction to kick his
But not even
target.
that. There was no way he was going to get lethal, and there was no way that Misfortune could end up getting there to help out.
Yeah.
As we see here in this follow-up, Malrong taking a bit of damage, ends up getting away. Hoyt did have to use his stopwatch. And now we're going to have a fight over the Mountain Drake.
And this is where DAMWON really do want to start winning some fights.
Yeah, and Kale doesn't have teleport available, so probably just going to start moving down now.
Yep, movement speed options available for the Kale. And this is the time where we're going to be looking at Showmaker to help DAMWON out. KT, they have their front-to-back comp working. They have Koro with his first item. Noguri coming down, actually looking for his first kill as the flash has to be expended. The mini wave going to be taken control of. Malrong spots the members of DAMWON Gaming. Sweeper not going to be utilized, but this control ward does take away the vision that KT have for themselves. Control ward put over the wall there by Tucson as 5 members of KT are here. Nuclear still a little bit late to this party. Trouble Bubble doesn't find the target as Hoyt now looks for Tucson, who gets the grand entrance onto Noguri. Noguri still looking for these kills. Has the ultimate available, remember, it does use it now as he gets just dived on. Finds the kill onto Malrong, but they trade back pretty immediately as Blade Caller looking for Nuclear, doesn't get him. You're going to land there as Canyon looking for Tucson potentially. So far, 4 versus 4. Feels like DAMWON still have control of this river. Showmaker is still a very scary force. Nuclear there as well. Doesn't have bullet time, but does have bullets. The Mountain Drake will go to DAMWON.
Mountain Drake, yep, gonna go over
Hoyt.
to them.
Bit of a face check, does at least proc his aftershock to try and keep him alive. Dredgeline, max range, gets him to safety. Double up, works onto Kuro. Does do a lot of damage. That was a hijacked flash used by Showmaker to get him over the wall. This bubble going to be haymakered to make sure that Ray doesn't take too much. And he'll get himself out of there. He's still 20 CS behind the Kale. That is probably going to extend as Noguri makes his way back towards the bottom lane. Nash's Tooth going to be second item, in fact. Might be going for a more AP variant of this Kale.
And we're going to take a look at the replay right here as DAMWON, they come in on the Dragon. The team fight ends up breaking out. Noguri trapped amidst the chaos as he's just trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can. Malrong Kale ends up ulting and then eventually is brought down. So not the best positioning for DAMWON prior to this, but they still do come out on top with the Mountain Dragon.
Yeah, just thinking about it, KT don't really have very many superplex targets in this game, do they?
No, they don't.
It's like largely Hoyt, but he's not even building health because, of course, the Stone Plate is so strong on these supports. And Canyon, he's not going to have health for a very long time. I guess he'll have Black Cleaver, but otherwise it'll be the Guardian Angel coming in next. 900 away from getting that Nash's Tooth here for Noguri, and we'll be able to see where he's going to go next. Rabbidan's Death Cap wouldn't be too bad, but I'd still like a Rage Blade.
Does look like Ray is also a bit of an intellectual. Going to be building Trinity Force on set. I die a little inside every time I see Black Cleaver.
Noguri is going very aggressive to Ray here, taking probably too many turret shots, one could say.
Almost has the Nash's Tooth actually completed for himself as Kuro and Malrong, they're trying to push in top lane as DAMWON maybe looking to make a play here in mid. Remember Tushin and aiming with barrier heal, so
yeah,
much
very
more
defensive.
durable than normal. Trinity Force finally completed on Ray.
It's actually pretty big because that was a dagger and a phage.
Yes.
Immediately turned into a Trinity Force. So Ray might be able to at least fight back a little bit more effectively, which he's going to have to. He's 40 CS behind. It feels like that lead is only extending as Noguri does have so much control. Inner turret falls on the top side, luxury turret like you like to talk about, but still is going to line the pockets of KT and form them about a 1,500 gold lead at this 21-minute mark into the game.
Now, one of the unfortunate things about the itemization on the side of KT, aside from Set just having the random Spectre's Cowl, which will end up serving purpose later against the Kale and Zoe, but right now it's not really adding all that much value, is the Orianna, she picked up a...
the Forbidden Book.
The Forbidden Book.
Works with a Kale, you know? Kale's got a heal button. Has been building a bit of AP with this particular choice.
That's some blasphemy if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Alice, okay.
What you're going to do is Malrong tries to smite the blue, but actually just helps Noguri take that one down, and Noguri is actually able to take the Gromp as well. Which one of these players is the jungler is, I guess, my question.
Well, Kale is level 14, so actually very close to going Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah. And he's going to be the one to watch here this game. It's all about Noguri and what he can actually do, and maybe this is going to be the time as Canyon just doing some funny business there. Going to interrupt his resonating strike with his safeguard onto Noguri. The mind games coming out here. Right now, KT do have a really good item timings. In 2 items on their Orianna, 2 items on their Xayah, and that Trinity Force that just came in. Quite able to find opportunities for fights, but as you can see, Nuclear probably sitting on a bag of cash right now, given he only has that BF sword and not the completed Infinity Edge.
And only 50 seconds until this Mountain Dragon ends up coming up, so it's definitely looking like it's going to be extremely DAMWON favored. Some people, they might look at the gold score at the top right now and think, well, isn't KT in the lead? Absolutely not. So, unless Malrong and Kuro are able to find some sort of a pick-off prior to this Mountain Dragon, it should go over to DAMWON Gaming every day of the week.
Oh, Showmaker, really clean stuff. Grand entrance used to exit on Tusin's side, but does keep his health bar intact. Skuro. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, a Shockwave play could come in, but this, what's happening to Ray right here is the biggest problem, as that's the kickback Haymaker, not going to find any damage. The Superplex does nothing, and Noguri just picks up the kill. That is how difficult it is to go for a flank if you're this particular set, because Noguri has the same idea, and he'll just kill you.
The other thing is that Set can't really hold a side lane here against Kale. So this is one of the interesting counter picks that Set eventually gets forced to teamfight, but as we were talking about earlier on...
Has to be flashed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Vision going to come in. Nuclear very late. on that bullet time. But the Mountain Drake has been picked up. Inner turret traded for it, so DAMWON not going to be super excited about that particular decision. Is now the team fight. 4v5 at the moment as Showmaker flashes away from the feathers, but now Hoyt has the ultimate on him, keeps himself alive for a while, but a 3-man Shockwave will take down the Nautilus, and aiming going very aggressive onto Nuclear. Nogari still at full health as now the teleport comes through from Ray. He's desperately looking for someone as the face breaker does come in. Nogari has the flash, uses it to get out. And KT look a little bit silly, finding no one.
KT, they don't find anyone, and because Nogari has the teleport available, I think KT are going for a desperation Baron right now. They do have the Ocean Dragon that's replenishing some of their HP, but Canyon is so close with full HP. Nogari here as well. Superplex, though, is available on Ray to pull the Lee Sin away. Baron, half HP.
I believe kickback is going to be there as now Nogari looks for Ray, finds him now. Canyon wants to get into this pit, 1800 health, but they decide they don't want to go for the 50-50 and an intelligent choice from KT.
And now DAMWON!
Oh, just take the leash. No worries there at all. Hoyt comes on over, and now Showmaker, one of the best defensive Baron takers, is able to stop them from coming in.
And Super Saiyan 2 Kale, so...
Yeah. I've seen these episodes. This is, that's the rough point. This was Gohan against Cell, you know. He's only got one arm, but he's got all the power.
Yeah, he's got
and
Goku.
I mean, look at 2 arms
Which
Kale.
maybe Baron is Goku.
Maybe.
As we take a look here, Gunblade coming out, Ray not really having a response here. Had Flash available, and so I think that there's a world that he can end up actually living if he's really quick to pull for the Flash suplex and try to end up getting away. But right here, Hoyt trying to go in onto Kuro, they just didn't quite have enough damage. Kale ultimate not doing enough right there. Flank came in from Ray, but as we saw, wasn't able to find anything. And then Ray, he was just making DAMWON stay.
He was. And honestly, the Baron wasn't fast enough. It was a bit of a desperation call regardless. And DAMWON, they pick up the health bar at around 50%. Grab that Baron for themselves. The gold lead's certainly not there just yet, 1.3k, but we've still got minute 45 on this Baron. There is a fair bit of standing gold still available. Inner turrets aplenty on this map for DAMWON. And the Mountain Soul will be available in 2.5 minutes. Stusen standing on this ward. Hoyt also standing on a ward. Is now Canyon. Arctic Assault comes forward. Safeguard out onto a ward. But no Dragon's Rage available, as DAMWON will be pushing down the first inner turret of this Baron buff. Take it on the top side.
So they finally end up, you know, getting a somewhat of a gold advantage here. It's about 2,000. But again, you factor in team composition, that Kale, the fact that the set just isn't really doing anything in this game at all.
27-minute Flame Horizon, not too bad.
Yeah.
For Nogari.
As Death Cap also completed.
Yeah,
for
I like
Showmaker.
This. It looks like Showmaker's going the Super Soaker Death Cap into Void Staff combo.
Yes.
Which is probably one of the bigger 3-item spikes you can get. It's like you could exchange the GLP for something like Illudens as well, but it's neither here nor there. Generally, if you go 2-3 Rabidons after your first mana-related item, you're going to be feeling very, very strong once that Void Staff is complete. Despite this, Xayah actually starting to get very strong. It just doesn't seem to be enough as the bubble going to register there onto Malrung. Gets himself out of the way as Paddlestar misses onto Tucson, as does the Super Soaker. Nogari will take everything if it's in front of him. Without too many worries. 2 levels ahead of Kuro. 6 levels ahead of Malrung.
Yeah.
7 levels ahead of Tucson.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a really, really gross deficit for KT to try to figure out how they're going to get out of this, as their champions pound for pound are just so far behind that of DAMWON's. And 30 seconds now, Mountain Soul, and with that, it's definitely going to be lights out. All that extra HP against a KT team composition that really only has one champion that's going to deal a lot of damage to it.
Whoa, Showmaker. Fair bit of damage there. Mountain Soul, or Mountain Rift, is like a Nautilus's worst nightmare because he can't dredge line anywhere, but Zoe loves it. So DAMWON sort of good and bad as far as that Drake is concerned, but now a potential fight here around the Mountain Soul opportunity for DAMWON.
Kale's level 18, and Sejuani's 11.
Yeah, Nogari's also just completed a death cap for 4 items on the Kale, has teleport available, and KT are looking for a fight.
I mean, Nogari did teleport in.
Yeah, he's going to be here for this one. Canyon just looking for a target. Dredgeline missing onto Ray. Now DAMWON will get themselves that shield. Glacial Prison comes down, but it's Nogari that secures the dragon, and now Malrong's just going to get taken down. No, able to get out of there as Hoyt does find Ray, and the Q is going to land from the Lee Sin. A lot of damage out of Nuclear, and Nogari and KT nowhere to go. In fact, they're going the wrong direction, moving towards the enemy base. Now Nogari moving Canyon super quickly. Now continue pushing things as we've got 1:20 until Baron is up. Elder Drake now spawning in 5.5. DAMWON not too worried about those neutral objectives. They just want to push down this mid lane and start smacking on this base.
They're going to be able to do it. I mean, you just look at the value that the Mountain Drakes and the Mountain Soul are doing. 18% amplification. It's not much, but it's a Kale that has 105 armor and 50 magic resistance, which does make her a little bit more durable, and when you consider she's healing a lot because of her Gunblade as well as the fleet footwork and things of that nature.
And pressing her W.
Yeah, and pressing her W as well with having quite a lot of AP. This game is definitely over for KT outside of some miracle Baron fight and then also somehow stealing the Elder Dragon and winning a team fight.
Yeah, they need to drop something on Nogari's keyboard, I think. That's going to be my tactic. Okay, that's one way to figure out that KT are lying in wait. Canyon saying thank you very much for buffing the range of the Sonic Wave. As he's able to pick up all of that vision from safety. Set's going to give vision to himself bottom side. He has that teleport up. Nogari doesn't, which is why he's going to be going top side as this Baron spawns. Just came up just then. Skuro throw his orb over. Nuclear is going to be able to clear out that ward from safety.
And Canyon now.
Well, Nogari's just going to try and solo this.
Yeah.
Hoyt's going to be there, but too soon. Just gets kicked out. Sorry, mate. Not going to have too many opportunities there. Able to hop over the wall pretty effectively, but look at this. DAMWON just shred through this Baron. Canyon is going to be able to get into the pit, but not able to steal it. The bubble actually activating, and Malrong going to go down there as well. Hoyt just trying to play defense and dredge lines to get himself out. Flashes after the Haymaker is now. Canyon dives on in, but Ray sacrifices himself. Oh no! Not exactly the superplex that you were looking for. There's Nogari down half health. A flash in from Nogari. Kuro running for the hills, but this Kale is so big. Canyon, just stunning skill shots. The ace comes forward, and DAMWON look for a clean 2-0.
Yeah, DAMWON now with the top wave in close proximity. They're going to be able to buff it up with Baron. And with the champions that they have, they're going to rip right through the turrets, and this is going to be a 2-0 in about 1 hour's time, not factoring in champ select, so...
Yeah, it's currently about 6:36 KST, and T1 versus Gen.G is in an hour and a half, starting at 8 p.m. As Malrong, he's respawned, but these Nexus turrets, they definitely won't. The Nexus won't as well until our next match, and DAMWON come back with a vengeance after a very, very rough series earlier in the week. If you want redemption, there is no better way to get it than to kill your opponents on the fountain before dealing that last beautiful shot to the Nexus, just like Showmaker did. Fantastic performance once again from that top lane god himself, showing us that he can play the tank, he can play the carry, he can scale, he can sin, he can do what he wants.
Well, he didn't sin, he came to purify. That's why
he purified this game, but earlier in the games, he's picked up player of the games on. Like it's the opposite of Morgana, who's like the devil lady.
No, she's not the devil lady. She's misunderstood.
Ah, is that how it is?
Yeah, why do you always jump to that conclusion?
Oh, I just read the lore. And devil doesn't necessarily mean, you know, like you're a bad person. Have you seen the Lucifer TV show? He's theoretically
I
good.
love that show.
Yeah, I haven't.
The next season's coming out soon.
I'm in the lull state of that show,
What?
which I think is like season 2. It's like
oh,
not
it gets
quite
bad.
as good. Yeah, it gets a little bit iffy. So I'm trying to like trudge through it until
it comes
gets
back.
better. Yeah, okay.
It gets really good. Season 3, Season 4.
All right, nice, nice. Well, that's exactly what DAMWON did. They got slaughtered by Gen G. They were making draft errors. They were messing things up in that series. This game, however, their first draft was beautiful. Their second draft, they had the answering Kayle split push and team fight option that did very much work out. And I just love watching Noguri play this well, you know? A reminder that this team just has carries that are so good. And despite not having a great start to the season, there is still a lot of season to go. This is only the final day of week 2. There are many weeks to start off the LCK. Still in the first round robin, still with plenty to play for. And KT, they're going to need to think that as well. Because honestly, this has been a lackluster second week for them.
The thing is that KT has no identity whatsoever.
Yep.
It is so bizarre that you can't ever really tell what they're trying to go for. They did get some wins.
Yeah, they got
so far.
Their game ones in week 1
Their
was
game
actually
one,
pretty good. But not quite able to figure out anything else. As this is a highlight play for some strange reason. As Canyon just getting a kickback for no reason onto aiming there.
Well, it's a highlight because of the ending right there. You saw the green ooze.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
Got it.
As Showmaker.
Once again, going to get caught out. And I actually like that this is highlighted because DAMWON were playing a bit fast and loose.
Yes.
Throughout the early to mid game. But it was after Noguri picked up 2 to 3 items that it really did feel like the inevitable was just, it was like a freight train of Super Saiyan 2 Kayle destruction. And even here, like the level advantages that were able to be picked up by Noguri after this team fight was just disgusting. Because you can see they're even here, and then all of a sudden it was a 3-level lead.
And, I mean, the other thing about this is Ray, whenever the camera panned to him in top lane, remember, I kept saying I didn't understand what he was doing on set.
Yeah.
In so many of those instances. And once the mid game started coming around, he looked so lost. And I really feel like the Peacekeeper set kit skin was really fitting. He was trying to keep the peace. He was a pacifist this game.
Yeah, well, that's not what you want to do. This is PvP, guys. You can't be doing that. He gets booted back into the opposition. Showmaker throwing a Super Soaker for no reason, but Marong, he was bubbled up, trying to go for that 50-50 opportunity, but Canyon and Noguri just had too much security on that Baron. Superplex was buffered there by Ray, as Canyon was coming in to try and kick him back anyway. It was an odd move, but we're going to listen in on DWG as they obliterate these Nexus turrets and then look to try and dive some fountain.
죽일만 한데. 나 궁뎅이네. 조지겠다. 아 몰라, 죽여. 몰라. 나이스.
That was Hoyt. That was Hoyt. He just wanted to kill the champions.
Noguri did, I mean, he did all right here.
How much damage did KT do as a team? Only a little bit more than Noguri.
Yeah?
That was very close to actually.
Yeah.
It was like 4,000 less, 4,000 more damage than Noguri did.
You know someone's
alone.
going to clip this and add it up, and you just said 4,000. You just doomed yourself.
Did I? Why? My mathematics is wrong?
Yeah.
It might be 5,000 because I don't think I factored in Tushin. Anyway, 31k damage on a Kayle. Not too bad at all. A very comfortable laning phase into an even more comfortable mid game into just destroying KT.
Now, he might not get player of the game. Alice.
Yes, he will.
I don't know if that you saw there. No.
No?
No, he's going.
Reckon
If he
it's
doesn't,
Canyon?
something's wrong.
It's Canyon for that sick kickback onto Ames.
Hoyt.
Ah, right. But what did I don't think I agree with that player of the game assessment. No, you think that's... All right, well.
Let's take a look at Noguri. Most likely going to be player of the game.
I think that he probably is going to get a 12 out of 12 here. That's what I'm assuming. But we shall see. I don't know whether they'll show us exactly the ratio at this point. Still deliberating. his face should come up onto the screen any time now, any minute, any moment.
All right.
I haven't seen it just yet.
We are waiting.
Yeah. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Okay. Double MVP.
And now leading as far as the MVP vote, I believe, by 200 points.
Yeah.
As coming into today, he was even with Faker's 300. There are a few players, I believe, on the 300, as I can actually look this up. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, beginning of today, Faker, Nuguri, and Chovy were all 300 points. And now creating a bit of a gap. Faker has the chance to answer back in our second series, but that won't be for a while.
A little bit over an hour until that one will end up commencing. Obviously, we're going to go into the interview with Nuguri here in just a second. Those will probably be an hour and 15, hour and 10 minutes.
Yep.
Until the next match.
It's always good when Nuguri gets the double MVP as well, because we know how much he likes to talk. And so now, you know, he just has Mina to himself in this interview and doesn't have to give up any of his time, so he can continue to be excited Nuguri, which is always a joy. So speaking of which, let's throw it over to Ji-sun for some translation.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from the solo MVP today, Nuguri from DAMWON Gaming. Nuguri, this is your 5th POG. You are the only POG player in DAMWON Gaming so far. How are you feeling, Mr. Greedy, Nuguri? I mean, if we lose today, we knew we were getting doomed, so we were really nervous. Well, I'm really happy that we got this win. Well, we have to say, well, fans were really hyped for DAMWON Gaming, but you guys were a bit underperforming. So how was today's match? Well, I guess, like, compared to the previous matches, I think we did kind of improved, but still, there are so many points to work on. So, last time you played Nar, and this time you played Ornn for the first time. Are you looking for some change in style? Well, the meta changed, and also we kind of need consistent champions on top lane, so we are working on that part. So we're trying to try a lot of things. So Ornn was really doing so many works, especially in terms of taking damage. So your position was like you are dragging the enemies to come in. Yeah, because my items were almost like full build. I got scaled up so much, so I was really confident. I mean, yeah, you just walked out casually in that fight. So did you calculate all the damage? So that was the point. Point after I could like upgrade the items. So I had a lot of 80 armors. So I had the power spike at that moment. So I was really confident. And you played Kale in game number 2. You played it in the previous T1 series as well, but you didn't have a good game, to be honest. But you went with Kale against Seth again. I mean, you suffer a little bit in the early phase, but still, it's so good in the late game. I mean, you are just doing all the works by yourself. You are the only 18-level champion at that moment. Well, I used to play those champions a lot, so I'm sorry for Kenyan. But whenever I play such champions, whenever he goes for a golem, he just walks away and let me take it. And also, he lets me take the control wards. He let me take all the lanes. So they do a lot of work for me. But still, you did not purchase any control ward. You are really selfish. Still, I'm not buying any control wards. I mean, if there's the right situation to buy it, I will. But a lot of times, I just don't want to buy it. Well, maybe next time, once. The typical top laner Nuguri with the interview over here. So with this clean 2-0 win, I hope you guys can roll on. How are you gonna prepare for your upcoming series? Today as well, we did get a 2-0 win. However, we were a bit shaky throughout the game, so we want to improve on that. And we're having a lot of matches coming up, so throughout that process, I hope we can step up. This will be the end of the interview with Nuguri from DAMWON Gaming, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, G-Sun, and Nogari, as adorable as ever in his interviews. He always is, and we're so sorry, guys. I mean, DAMWON just, they beat KT too quick, and now we've got what?
This happened yesterday,
70
actually.
minutes or something like that until 8 p.m.?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it is actually. It's
70
exactly
minutes. That's
70
the way
minutes.
that's the way the math works out.
Yeah, that is. I was hoping that maybe there was going to be a
You're
little
from
bit of a delay.
Australia, not America.
That's true. But also there is going to be like a highlight package. So as far as the timer is concerned, I think there'll be a timer for like 64 minutes.
DAMWON, they make their way over to the left-hand side.
And this, I believe, is the top 5 that you illustrated in the POG state in week 1. We did it. So let's just stall it here. In fact, our next 2 teams are already there, and therefore they can't actually maneuver around.
League Supreme.
League Supreme.
2019.
Just absolutely nailed it. Incredible stuff. And if T1 wins, I think that it's actually in the order that I said. But I don't know whether that is going to be the case, because it looks like DAMWON were the tougher opposition, and they made them look pretty similar to KT versus DAMWON, and also KT versus T1. So T1 versus Gen G will be coming up after the break. You do not want to miss it. We'll see you in about an hour.